spaces with plastic and then peel the rest of the brain away. So this model represents empty space. It's the infillings of empty space. Now, we can easily place this in the brain. Here's another model which has one of these big old horns broken off. But that's actually kind of useful to us because I can actually take this model, and if you look, you'll notice right here is the chicken head. See the chicken head right there? Got his eyeball in his beak there. See the chicken head? See that chicken head there? Well, the chicken head, remember, was the third ventricle. And so I can actually take this model and place this chicken head right against this chicken head, and look at that. It fits. So, in our ventricles, we have these two big side ones. These two big side pieces are the lateral ventricles. So these are the lateral ventricles, these big side ones here, which, again, are broken off there, but that's okay. So this is the lateral ventricle. And so as you can see, when we place it up against our brain model, the lateral ventricle is going to go into the brain, into the frontal lobe. It's going to be going through the frontal lobe, through the parietal, through the occipital, and then wraps around into the temporal. And that's why we have this pattern here. It goes from frontal to parietal to occipital, and then back around to temporal. So that's the lateral ventricle, and that's located within the hemisphere, cerebral hemisphere here. Now, the chicken head itself is the third ventricle, which we pointed out on the brain here, that space right around the chicken's eye. The third ventricle, third ventricle. We have coming down from the third ventricle, the cerebral aqueduct. So this strip here is the cerebral aqueduct. Cerebral aqueduct, which we also pointed out right there on the brain. So we have the cerebral aqueduct. There's this strip here. We also saw the cerebral aqueduct right there. Right? The cerebral aqueduct was also this gap here. Actually, both at the same time there. The cerebral aqueducts. And right there. Cerebral aqueduct here and here. And then there at the very base is that triangular space we mentioned, the fourth ventricle. So we have fourth ventricles right here. Fourth ventricle on this model and this model. Nice triangular spaces coming off the fourth ventricle. Fourth ventricle. This right here. This nice big triangular base to the whole thing is the fourth ventricle. Now we also have this connection point. The lateral ventricle is going to connect into the third ventricle at the interventricular foramen, which I can take this rubber band and wrap around right there. See that? That piece there that the rubber band is wrapping around is the interventricular foramen, the passage that connects the lateral ventricles to the third. So that passage right there I got the rubber band wrapped around is the interventricular foramen. It's the interventricular foramen connecting the laterals with the third. It's the interventricular foramen there. One final thing of note on this model is we have these pink stripes. These pink stripes are going to be known as choroid plexus. So all these pink stripes on this model are known as choroid plexi, choroid plexus for singular. And this is where you find your ependymal cells. If you remember the ependymal cells, the neuroglia that produce cerebrospinal fluid. So we'll talk more about these tomorrow, but just kind of note that in your brain. These pink regions are choroid plexi, where we'll find our ependymal cells that produce cerebrospinal fluid. Okay. Any questions on any of that then?